On today's show, should the Mavericks think about a Buddy Hield trade now that the Pacers are shopping him? And what are the highs and lows, the ceilings and the floors for Mavericks players? They got a lot of them that could reach really high highs and really low lows. We're going to talk about them on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show and making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Join the Raccoon Squad, be an everydayer, subscribe, follow for free. Just search Locked On Mavericks wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. But the best way you can help to grow the show is to listen every day and to comment anything below. Let us know in the comment section. Would you trade Tim Hardway Jr. for Buddy Hield straight up? Just straight up. Think about salary. Think about what Buddy Hield wants. We'll talk about that. If you want to support the show, text us, get text alerts from us on Mavs Rumors, watch film with me, and more. Subscribe to our subtext or text the number on the screen. You can go ahead and click the link in the description as well, so go check that out. Subtext. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, contributor at Mavs.com, Studio 41, the Buddy Hield human, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
There's a nice little Shams tweet today about Indiana, putting Buddy on the block again. Yeah,
Here we
probably
go,
not
man.
Probably not John Collins level, but the fact it feels like
Getting
that was
there.
a pretty solidified, hey, it's gonna happen. And it feels like every training camp, every year around this time, this is when you start seeing some names, right? I mean, we already know the Lillards and Hardens and people of the world who want to be traded right now before training camp.
Just all stars, just all NBA players.
Yeah, just all
Want to
NBA
be
guys.
traded.
But it's like then you get some of these names too that's wanting extensions before everything gets rolling. It's like, oh, all right, I'm not going to get my money, I want out type thing. Let's work on a trade. So it's fun, right? It adds this like kind of fun little layer to the next week and a half, 2 weeks before everything gets underway.
Yeah, and hopefully some of them get traded. And you still believe that the Mavericks have one more trade to make?
I do, yeah.
You're still
My
holding on.
time's ticking,
You're still holding on to it.
Yeah,
You know that we're 1 week from training camp right now.
we are.
Mavs training camp starts Thursday. Wednesday. Wednesday, the 27th.
Week from yesterday.
Today, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, it's coming. Trades can still happen. Training camp. There's the 10-day gap between the Spain game and then the last preseason game. Trade could still happen then, I guess. But
They could still put Tim on a plane back from Abu Dhabi. It's like you get over there and it's
who's
like,
the
all right,
college? Who's the college coach? Lane Kiffin. Didn't they send him back on his own plane from one of USC's? Like,
I don't know.
that was like a whole thing.
I don't know.
Send him back on his own plane. Oh my gosh. All right, on today's show, we want to talk about the outcomes. Yesterday, we mentioned a little bit that the Mavericks have a bunch of players that could have really high ceilings, and if they hit, could go really well for the Mavericks. They also have pretty low floors. And if they don't hit, it could be really bad for the Mavericks. So we want to talk about all those, talk about the outcomes that they could hit. But first, I want to start here. Buddy Hield, according to Shams Charania, after contract extension negotiations stalled out, Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers have started a dialogue to work on finding a potential trade with another team. Sources say the Pacers did offer Hield an extension in recent weeks, but it's believed their proposal did not make the 7-year guard feel desired.
Oh.
Didn't feel desired, according to league sources. Buddy Hield is making $19.3 million. He's going to be a free agent this upcoming offseason, where Shams said he's going to be one of the most sought-after free agents. I don't know that I agree with Shams on that statement, but I haven't looked at the free agent list very much.
Probably says more about the free agent list. Yeah,
Yeah, probably. And so, yeah, the question, like all teams now are asking the question, do you want Buddy Hield? What would you do in trade for Buddy Hield? And the Mavericks have this Tim Hardway piece that we've been looking at. Does he fit? Does he want to still stay with the Mavericks? Does he fit with the group of, Seth Curry and Jaden Hardy and him? And what do they do with that? He's got 1 more year left on his deal, and Buddy Hield's got 1 year left on his deal. So if you're the Mavericks, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think I would be interested if I was Dallas. I think it would be something you entertain. From Indiana's side, Rick has a previous relationship with Tim, and we're just using that because it feels like a natural, like you know, there hasn't been any rumor or anything, but it feels like a natural thing if Indiana's was working on a contract extension for Buddy, but maybe didn't want to give the long-term security or whatever. Like they still value having a shooter, another shooter on the team around Halliburton and those guys. So, and yeah, if you're Indiana, they obviously, gave him or shot out a number to him that he didn't love, him, his agency didn't love. If you could swap him out for a similar player who's under contract for another year after this one for around the same that you've been paying Buddy, it seems like something Indiana would be somewhat interested in. They're what, 6-8 months apart in age. They're pretty similar, right? Like maybe even
Buddy Hield is 31. So yeah.
Yeah. And Tim's 31. So
we thought Buddy Hield would be 29 at this point, but we realized that he was 2 years older than he was.
Yeah. So, so if you're Dallas and you're looking at it, there's, a couple ways you could look at it. You could say, hey, you are getting one of the best shooters in the league that you'd probably turn around and say, do we have the two best 3-point shooters in the league in Seth Curry and Buddy Hield coming off your bench? He hit the most 3-pointers last year, like Sham said in his tweet, more than anybody. And, you're looking at it from a salary angle too, of saying, all right, you get off the last year of Tim's deal and it's another expiring contract that, heck, you could flip it again later on in the year. So, we could sit here and do the whole, like, who's the better player. I don't know. I could hear both sides. Yeah. So neither one of them's good defensively.
I think it's Buddy. I think he's the second best 3-point shooter in the NBA. What's the case for Tim?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you can make the case. I think Buddy's a better player.
Yeah, maybe Tim. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say maybe Tim has a little bit more like like dribble, like handles.
I think Tim could be more athletic.
I can't. Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not even sold on that, so it's like.
Yeah, well, I also think there's an intangible thing too of like I do think Tim is one of the vet guys on this team.
For sure.
Tim has a good relationship with young guys, and he's always had high respect, for Luka, and so I'm just saying, like, I think there's part of that that you're factoring into it too. I don't know much about like Buddy teammate chemistry. I haven't really dove into all that. We all know that Buddy loves working out in Dallas. It feels like that's been, I don't know, for a decade now. Ever since Dirk, came to Dallas, Buddy's been working out here, and everybody shares the clips of Buddy was seen in Oakland Friday night.
So the thing with no one's in Oakland at night.
I don't know. I was just thinking of some random place.
Actually, that's not true. But the thing with Buddy Hield, though, to me, is he doesn't feel desired with whatever contract they gave him. He is just coming off of next year. He'll come off of a 4-year, $94 million deal. I think there's a shift now. The Davis Bertans, Buddy Hield, Tim Hardway Jr., these guys that just bring Duncan Robinson, these guys that just bring shooting to the table. Those guys are not getting paid the same way that they used to get paid, right? Like
I would say Buddy's a little bit more athletic, though. Like I wouldn't want to put him in the same category as Bertans or even like a Duncan Robinson. I think he's a little bit more athletic than those two guys.
That's fine. He still only brings shooting, so
okay, that's true.
All right, like defense, passing, like anything like that. No, like he's not bringing those attributes to the table. He's a great 3-point shooter, obviously, and that's why Tim got his deal. That's why Buddy got his deal and all that. So with those guys, they're just not getting the same kind of deals that they used to. And so if you're Buddy, you're like, well, if you're not giving me the same thing I just got, and I feel like I've been better, then why would I stay here? And so, yeah, it could be years, could be money. Here's a couple. Let me just throw out quickly some guys that got deals recently, and who do you think he should get paid like? Here's the high-end one. Cam Johnson got a 4-year, $108 million deal. That's $27 million per year.
No, Cam's younger and better defensively.
It's only like a $12 million total in the deal more than what Buddy just got paid, though, which is crazy if you think about it.
That was 3 years ago, though. That wasn't like last offseason.
I know. I'm just saying though. Buddy's coming off a 4-year, $94 million. Cam just got 4-year, $108. Dylan Brooks, 4 years, $90 million.
Yeah, Dylan's better overall player though. That's
Josh Hart, 4 years, $81 million. That's $13 million less than the deal Buddy just is like in right now, which is crazy.
Well,
but
I think that's
have Josh Hart, and I don't think Buddy Hield should be making more than Josh Hart. I don't think.
I think that's around the range he's probably wanting, right? He's probably wanting to stay around what he's making now and give me a few more years. I would assume.
Here's one: Colin Sexton, 4 years, 72. That's $18 million per year.
Yeah, I'd take Buddy. Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson, 3 years, 53. That's $17.6 million per year.
Yeah.
That one's tough. So I don't know that Buddy has any contemporaries that he can kind of compare to at this point. But anyway, coming up, let's talk about the highs and lows of Mavericks players. We've got a bunch of Mavericks players that I think have really high highs and really low lows. Let's start with Jaden Hardy and Josh Green. What could they be and what could they not be? We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do that, let me tell you about Jace Medical. Jace provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. I've got my Jace case right here. You can get the Jace case yourself, and all you have to do is fill out the simple form online. In some cases, you might have to jump on a quick call with one of our board-certified physicians at Jace. You can also get ongoing care from physicians on any treatment-related questions, doctor-created, doctor-recommended. This is something, again, that I just never thought about before in my life, that if you're stuck and you need to deal with some situations, you need to deal with infection, you need to deal with, if you've ever watched The Last of Us, some of those situations, I'm like, dang, if I was in that, what would I do? Like, where would I go? Where would I try to get medicine or anything like that? The supply chains, all that can break down at any given moment. We saw that with some of the things recently in the news. And so you can get a Jace case to help you and your family, to give you just peace of mind to know that you can be safe in situations like that, have those life-saving medications. You can save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jace, plus an additional $20 off by using their code LOCKEDON at checkout. Locked On, all one word. Jace Medical, JASE Medical.com. Again, get your Jace case today. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, being an everydayer. We appreciate each and every one of you for listening. We talked about Buddy Hield. Now let's get into the outcomes for players. They've got highs, they've got lows. If they swing one way and go one direction and are really great next year, it could be really good for the Mavericks. If they're not, what could happen for the Mavericks? Let's start with Jaden Hardy, because he's one of our favorites. We love talking to him. I'm excited to talk to him at Media Day because Hardy.
Let's go party.
We have to play him this. We have to play him this at Media Day. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Because that laugh came from Media Day last year. Jaden Hardy. Let's talk about what's the high for Jaden Hardy. What can you realistically expect next year from Jaden Hardy? Like, what could be the peak of what Jaden Hardy could be?
This one it's so hard because the basis of what we were saying on yesterday's podcast was like Dallas has these players on their team that there is this wide variety of, man, if it hits, like it can be this, but man, there's a realistic possibility it could go the other direction too. And for Jaden, you start, for me, just for the sake of content, I try to look at other like comps because people and listeners love comps and other players around the league that you can look at. So I was like looking at it more from that angle. It's like, all right, for this content for podcast, who's somebody around the league who's a scorer off the bench for a team, that because Jaden's going to come off the bench, who is a flamethrower type of scorer, but also like what's realistic. So like I don't like saying is he going to be Jordan Clarkson next year? I think that's a stretch for me. And I say Jordan Clarkson just because like that's like a legitimate 6-man of the year candidate.
He won 6-man in 2021.
Yeah, now the guy I kind of landed on was a 6-man of the year candidate too, so maybe it's like a year before. But like, could he be an Emmanuel Quickley type? You look at what Quickley brought, the New York team. Obviously, Brunson started and stuff, but you look at Quickley last year, and he he came off the bench. He was a 6 man of the year candidate and all of that. But you look at some of his numbers, you know, he averaged right around 15 points last year. He only started 21 games, but he played in all 81. He shot 37% from three. I don't know if Hardy's going to get the same amount of threes as he did, or, I mean, he quickly also played 29 minutes last year. Don't think Jaden Hardy's going to be playing 29 minutes either. So maybe it's like the year before that, Emmanuel Quickly. Can he show that type of a progression to where it's like, all right, what I see this year, then it's the jump to what Quickly brought last year, or what a Clarkson brings Utah or something like that the year after. Am I too off base?
No, I'm with you. That remember a couple weeks ago we did the like the takes that are the questions no one's asking about the Mavericks, and my question for that was, do the Mavericks need Jaden Hardy to take a leap in year 3? This coming up is year 2 for Jaden Hardy. We looked at some of his contemporaries, or some of the players that we compare him to: Jordan Poole, Tyler Hero, Anthony Simons. They all took a leap in either year 3 or their 22-year-old season. Hardy's about to go into his 21-year-old season. So, like, these guys all went from 12 points a game or so in their second year to like 18 points or 17 points in their third year. Took that leap, got better, added something to their game. And so I think what we're looking at with Jaden Hardy is, at the high end for me, can he be Jaden Hardy's the 6th man. Like, he comes off he's one of the first off the bench, because we know that he can bring microwave scoring and shooting whenever the Mavs need it at any given time. And there's always highs and lows with 6 men like that. Like even the Jamal Crawfords and Lou Williams, like, they had highs and lows where they missed a bunch of shots, and it just happens with players like that, the microwave scorers. So I think that's the highs, that we're looking at him as he's the 6th man by the end of the year. He's averaging like 12, 13 points a game. He's shooting well from 3. And I think one of the keys for him is he's the guy that everyone goes, what if he played more? What if he started? What if he, like, it's always the what if with them. And then he takes the leap the next year and it becomes apparent that he has to start or has to play a role or whatever.
I guess there's the 2 routes would be, all right, which of these camps do you think is more likely? Him ending as a 6 man, the clear 6 man for Dallas, or him ending the year and it's a game to game conversation of who's playing tonight, Hardy, Exum, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, that's the low end, right? The low end is
like, if you had to pick which one of those, that's like, I would probably lean towards the other one, that, hey, like, I could see Kid playing Dante Exum over him, and it's everybody's version of Dwight playing over Christian Wood, and everybody's like freaking out. But it's like,
apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
But then, like, Seth Curry, like, you know, could you see Seth playing over him? Do they have to pick either or, and all of that? So I'm fascinated by it. I think it would be so awesome and fun, especially for content wise and for fans, if he took a massive leap.
Yeah, the low end for him is that he's getting DNP-CDs, and he's like just on the outside looking in, and he comes in, and every once in a while he'll play 15 minutes and he'll score 15, because that's what he did last year. Anytime he played 15 minutes, he scored 12, 15 points. And so we can see that, but we can see him not get a lot of time, because he has Tim Hardway ahead of him. He has Seth Curry ahead of him in the rotation right now, at least I think, at this point. And so that's what we're going to deal with.
And that was one of the reasons too, like when we were going to this offseason, they're talking about improving the big spot, that, you know, the Tim Hardaway contract just made so much sense. Some people were like, dude, why are you wanting to trade Tim so bad? And it's like, it's not all about wanting to trade Tim. It's also about, okay, you have expectations for Jaden Hardy also.
Yeah.
But yet you don't see why people, you know, why they would trade Tim. It's like, okay, well, at some point there's only so many minutes off the bench. And so, yeah, anyway.
Yeah. And so that's where we are with Jaden Hardy. I'm fascinated to see what he ends up being this season. I'm curious to see what his highs could be, what his lows could be, especially considering, like, how much do you want to play him with Luka and Kyrie? They've got to be better defensively. And I don't know that playing the 3 of those guys together gets you there in any way, shape, or form. But they also have to maybe dangle him for trades too, and show that he's progressing, and show that he's getting, like, taken to that next level too. So there's a weird tightrope that they have to walk with Jaden Hardy's development, play, and the play on the court, because, like, success is not a given according to last year for the team as a whole.
Yeah.
So, man,
I want to see him when Luka's, you know, rotation stuff happens and he comes out of the game, Kyrie stays in. That's when I want to see Hardy come in and run a faster paced, kind of squad there with Kyrie. They're getting out running, some athleticism and stuff on the wings and stuff. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Kyrie, Hardy, Derek Jones Jr., like Rashawn Holmes.
Dwight Powell.
Not both. No. All right, coming up, let's talk about Josh Green. We'll hit on some of the other guys, the rookies, and we'll talk about their highs and lows coming up. But before we do, Isaac's wearing the hat. We got the shorts. We're wearing Bird Dogs. birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. You can go get your Bird Dogs right now. They make you look good. Their stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and give you a truly sculpted look. They're great. They fit great. Love wearing them. You can wear them with or without underwear, which is awesome. They also have all kinds of different kinds of pants too. They have joggers. They have all kinds of other pants that you can check out. I think they have sweatshirts too. They have anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. It really does. Like, you think that if you wore no underwear with shorts like this, it would make you like get swamp butt, but you don't really get it because of that anti-stink sweat wicking fabric. Bird Dogs are functional for any occasion. Isaac, you've worn them to meetings?
I have. I've worn them to meetings, and I wore this hat to a workout yesterday. So
the hat is great for workouts. I wear it. Yeah. I wear it to the gym all the time. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA or enter the promo code LockedOnNBA at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you that.
I don't always tell you guys the truth.
All right, Isaac, let's talk about the highs and lows, the outcomes for some of these Mavericks players. We talked about Jaden Hardy. Let's talk about Josh Green. I feel like we spent a lot of time this offseason talking about Josh Green.
But we have. I mean, yeah.
His outcomes and what he ends up being next year could really swing the Mavericks season in a way.
100%. I mean, you look at, a lot of the stuff we've said so much, but one of the only guys who can, is on the team that's the point of attack defender. He's going to step into that Reggie Bullock role. That had to factor a little bit into, when they made that trade and had to dump Reggie down to San Antonio, and they signed Grant Williams and and all of that. But the moment they made that trade, they knew that Josh Green was going to have to step into the Reggie Bullock role and guard the other defense. That's why he almost has to start, in my opinion. Like, it would, I just don't understand like how like Tim or Seth, or I don't know, it's anybody else really. I maybe Grant Williams, like if you think that he can guard some of the smaller guys, and then you have but it's not really what you brought him in for.
I don't think that.
For Josh, for me, I went to one name. We've mentioned to it before, but can he be Bruce Brown? Can he take that leap to be, you're not asking him next year to say, dude, you're gonna be prime Iguodala. No, but can you look at what Bruce Brown brought Denver last year throughout the whole season and in the playoff run and say, can you do that for us? Like, can you be that guy off the bench? Can you be the connector? Can you play defense, hit some threes, handle the ball at times, play with Jamal Murray, play with Jokic, can he do all those things that Bruce Brown brought? Because there's a really big value of that. And you've seen that with, Indiana gave him $20 million a year for a couple years there. But it's Bruce Brown for me. Can he be Bruce Brown?
That's a great one. I compared him. I said, can Dante Exum be the Bruce Brown? But if Josh Green is the Bruce Brown, like, that seems definitely more attainable. And so, you need him to bring the extra stuff that he does, but they just need him to do the basics. Hit threes, defend. Those are the big things. So his outcomes to me could be, it's hard to put parameters because there's no like award or no like role. Yeah. I guess the high outcome to me is he is a no doubt starter, which is what they need him to be.
Yeah.
A no doubt high end starter where we're saying, man, the Mavericks with that extension that they gave him, whatever their extension ends up being at this point, but the Mavericks got a real steal with Josh Green because he could be a little extra. He could be a little more. Another thing that I want to talk about with Josh Green is we saw him handle the ball a little bit, and go back to this.
People forget about Frank.
In that answer that Nico Harrison gave, they were talking about Josh Green potentially being a ball handler, and they gave him some opportunities last year, and he did pretty well running a pick and roll. if he takes that to the next level, then maybe we're talking about Josh Green in a different way, that he can run some offense, that they can do some more stuff with him.
Is that like an Austin Reeves path?
I mean, I don't think he's the shot maker that Austin Reeves is, but no. Austin Reeves is definitely not the defender that Josh Green can be and is right now. So,
I was trying to think of like another bigger guard that went from like, I don't know, like nothing to something.
Bruce Brown is kind of that. Like, I mean, Bruce Brown over the course of like Detroit, he was kind of nothing, and then he had one good season there, and then played in Brooklyn, and his minutes kind of went down after that, and then in Denver, they're like, oh yeah, we can use this guy for sure.
And that's why I went the Bruce Brown part for him, because Bruce played such a big role for Denver, to where, if we want to shift to Dante Exum here, like I really struggle with finding like what is the peak version of Dante Exum in Dallas next year, because I was trying to find these bigger point guards, these bigger defending point guards, and I don't think, and I could be, and I feel like I'm even on the higher spectrum of Dante Exum in Dallas, that I think he's more than just a minimum signing. I think that's one of my predictions for training camp, that we're going to get a Jason Kidd soundbite during camp saying, dude, Dante Exum's really impressed us with his defense and tenacity, some stuff like that. I just don't know what his like ceiling is. I don't think Dante Exum like starts, but is there a world that we're looking at and it's like, dude, yeah, he's the Bruce Brown, and because he's the Bruce Brown, he has like passed up. They value that over what like a Seth or a Jaden Hardy could bring. I don't know. I'm fascinated about him in Dallas this year.
Yeah, I've brought up the Bruce Brown, Dante Exum. I think that's his ceiling, if he can be a guy like that. Now, maybe he doesn't start 31 games like Bruce Brown did for the Nuggets, and maybe he doesn't score like 25 in a playoff game like Bruce Brown did, but you start to look around. I mean, can he be, I don't know,
Kyle Anderson?
Yeah, like a bizarro guard, Kyle Anderson.
That's what's so hard about like trying to project what he is.
There's not many players that are like him, right? Like I start looking, I mean, like an Alex Caruso, but just defensively, can he? I don't think he's definitely not as good as Alex Caruso defensively, but
that's the thing, is that there's other guards that are like bigger guards. They're just better than him. Like they have more of a bag than him, offensively. And so it's like, all right, well, he's not that. And then there's some other like defenders that you kind of look at and be like, all right, are you like a mini PJ Tucker?
I got a weird one. He played a lot more because OKC is developing him, but can he be like Jalen Williams, like the guard, like that type of player? Obviously,
not the guard.
Yeah, obviously not the ceiling.
The Santa Clara one.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he's really good.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But he's going to be really, really good too. Like and better, obviously, but can he be that type of player next year that Jalen Williams was in his second year? No, his first year, his rookie year. They played him 30 minutes a game. Dante Exum's not getting that, but in 30 minutes, he averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, steal and a half. It's like cut that down to 22 minutes, and maybe that could be what Dante Exum could be.
Yeah. What about Omax? Who'd you have for Omax? Or like, what do you?
Yeah, Omax, to me, I think his high end is he's starting. Like he does a Keegan Murray where they're like, oh, we should just start this guy because he brings things that we really need to that starting lineup. And maybe it's a ceremonial starting where they just need him for that opening run, and then he somehow plays less than Josh Green or whoever he's starting over, and maybe doesn't close as much. But like I think he could end up being that, because he just his energy is like is palpable, and like
say no more.
Like it's really like infectious, and I keep thinking, when I think about Omax, I keep thinking back to, well, first of all, he was sitting by himself at the Wings game last night, so I'm thinking about it, and then he joined everybody.
I thought about texting him and be like, all right.
And
then what did they call him on the Jumbotron?
Oh yeah, the PA announcer called him Oliver Prosper.
Oliver Prosper.
Olivier-Maxance Prosper.
They didn't even say Maxon. They just said Oliver Prosper.
Oliver. We've got to bring that up to him immediately.
Oliver Prosper.
He also had one of the fan towels. I think he just bought a ticket and walked in. I don't even think he like called the Wings or the Mavs or anybody. I think he just walked in and was like, "Oh, I'm here." But yeah, the low end is he doesn't play at all, right? Like I think that's what the low
end is. Don't say that.
But like don't
hurt my heart like that.
I tried to do it real fast at the end. You could tell. I just was like, Let me just slide this in here and
I think low
shank
end
you real quick and turn it and then pull it out.
I think low end is like Kawhi. No, I think low end is like Jared Vanderbilt. Like I think that's like
you're talking about this year.
Yeah. What do you think he's gonna be? Do you think do you think
Okay, Jared Vanderbilt's first year with the Lakers, or Jared Vanderbilt this past year, played 24 minutes a game with the Lakers on a playoff team.
Okay, well,
started 24 of the 26 games he played for them. Like he was a starter on a playoff team. So you know what I mean?
Maybe that's the
which is kind of what I said though. So I maybe I should push back on that because I kind of said that he would start on like his high end as he starts. So maybe
So is it like a Jared Vanderbilt? Is it a 35-year-old PJ Tucker? Is it
PJ Tucker was 35 like 2 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's to keep it realistic. I don't think he's OG this year.
No.
So like, but I think he could be OG in 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely.
So yeah, is it that you're looking at those bigger body guys that there was somebody else that had it? So yeah, it's a Jared Vanderbilt, that type of.
It's not a bad one actually.
I'm still missing. There's still another name. Jaden McDaniel's probably too good. Herb Jones, maybe like rookie year. Herb
Jones rookie year is a really good one, I think, because
he's like a little skinnier. Like Omax is like, I want to say he's like thicker than what Herb was that first
talk
year.
about it.
Yeah.
I think he's also bigger than Herb Jones, like taller, because Omax is a legit 6'8".
All right, so here's the combination. It's like if he took 38-year-old PJ Tucker and rookie year Herb Jones and went,
now kiss.
And then
he did it like action figures.
Omax popped out.
Where is Bates? Where's the intern on this that runs the out of context Locked On Mavs? Gonna have a field day with this episode.
Has our intern graduated yet?
We didn't give him any college credit, so probably not.
We took applications a while back and we got a lot of people interested in it.
Stop. We actually do get those. So please.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We had a lot of people reach out.
Okay. For the listeners, one time we said that as a joke and we literally got 5 people the next day that came and said they want to be our intern, which is amazing.
What? That's mean. You're going to like.
I didn't say who it was.
What's somebody's like dream is to be an intern for us?
I got stuff you could do, I guess.
Run his soundboard for him.
Explain yourself.
Sorry. It's like anytime you want to hit a button, hey, hit the Omax drop.
Yeah, you should just if I give you that look, Oliver, you need to hit the right button.
We treat him like Kyle, like Bill does. Like, intern, turn the camera on.
Yeah, but Kyle is Bill's nephew, so it makes sense. There you go. We talked about Derek Lively yesterday, so you can listen to that. Rashawn Holmes as well. We've done some episodes on him, so we won't do those today. But guys, let us know in the comment section. Should the Mavericks go after Buddy Hield? Should they trade Tim Hardway Jr. straight up for him? Let us know what you think about that and the highs and lows. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.